The Red Scare also included the fears of espionage. Alger-Hiss and Rosenberg, we will talk about them, and we will see that how this espionage fear just instigated the whole society. Now, Alger-Hiss was a successful, well-connected official in the US State Department. But in 1948, Hiss was accused of espionage, spying on the US to aid the Soviet Union. Now, a former Soviet spy said that dozens of US government officials were secretly aiding the Russians, and she named Alger-Hiss as a spy. Then Whittaker Chambers accused Hiss of being a member of the underground Communist Party in the 1930s. Under oath, Hiss denied all charges of espionage and denied any involvement with the communists. Eventually, Chambers provided documents in his handwriting. These documents included sensitive State Department information, like Chambers had stored these documents inside of a hollow pumpkin. So people call these the pumpkin papers. Hiss was convicted of perjury, lying under oath in 1950. And because of the length of time from his crime, he could not be charged with espionage. So Hiss was sentenced to 5 years in prison. But his conviction added to the growing fear of Soviet influence and espionage in the United States. Now, we all heard about Julius and Ethel Rosenberg. Now, Julius Rosenberg was an engineer for the US military, and Julius and his wife Ethel were members of the Communist Party. By 1950, Julius Rosenberg was arrested under the suspicion that he was heading a spy ring, passing vital information about atomic weapons to the Soviet Union. And shortly after, Ethel was also arrested. So Julius and Ethel Rosenberg, they were separated even by the heavy wire screen as they leave US court. These are the pictures which were publicly published, and they were found guilty by jury, obviously. And that was in 1952. And Ethel's brother, who was in the US military, and he also confessed to passing along nuclear secrets to the USSR, accused his sister, that means Ethel, and brother-in-law, that means Julius, for doing the same and like influencing him. Then the trial started, and after a brief trial, Julius and Ethel Rosenberg were convicted of espionage, and they were executed in 1953. But until their death, the Rosenbergs maintained their innocence. Today, their 2 children, they accept that their father Julius was a Soviet spy, but they believe their mother was innocent. Well, some say that the Rosenbergs were victims of a surge of hysterical anti-communist feelings, but others contend that the two were guilty of spying and sharing dangerous, obviously, atomic secrets. And these are very painful things to accept. So at that time, there were all writings all over the newspapers that by immeasurably increasing the chances of atomic war, the Rosenbergs may have condemned to death tens of millions of innocent people all over the world. And the execution of these 2 human beings is a grave matter, but even graver is the thought of the millions whose deaths may be directly attributable to what these spies have done.